song that you were singing yesterday.
Where have you been?
Where
have you been? Oh, my life. Oh, my life. Where have you been? No, it goes back up. Where have you been? Oh, my life. Oh, my life. Where have you been? 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 Oh, my life.
Hi, I'm Misha. I have my Master's of Divinity from Yale, and I really want to tap into this Deontay Kyle conversation on Jesus and ancestor veneration. One of the things I will point to is I think that a lot of American denominations are very, very bad about teaching Christian history, and specifically how violent the spread of Christianity has been across the globe. The spread, forced adoption of Christianity across the globe is a conversation for another day, but I specifically want to talk about Black Christianity. When our ancestors were kidnapped and forced into slavery in the United States, many of them belonged to the Islamic tradition, many belonged to African religious traditions, maybe some of them belonged to Christianity, but for the most part, there was a mix. The first thing I want to know is that many of our enslaved ancestors were not Christian. In the American colonies, which were being ruled by England at the time, the rule was that Christians could not be enslaved. So many of our enslaved ancestors saw being baptized into the Christian tradition as their way of being freed from enslavement. Many of our enslaved ancestors were not over here trying to convert to Christianity just because they believed it was the truth. They were trying to convert because they believed it would free them. This freaks slaveholders out, right? Because essentially, yes, it's great. We want to spread Christianity, but we also want to keep our slaves. So in 1667, the House of Burgesses ruled that for African slaves, being baptized did not free them. Baptizing did not exempt them from their enslavement. This is one of those really, really early examples of the legal system and Christianity kind of justifying the enslavement of Black people. I think it's really important for us to talk about this because I think that many of our ancestors were not trying to adopt Christianity because they saw it as truth. Many of them had their own valid, beautiful religious traditions. Many of them saw Christianity and baptism as a way to escape their bondage. No, that is just the truth of the history. It doesn't change the fact that the majority of African Americans in today's culture are Christians. But I think that it is important for us to tell that story so that we don't have some kind of false narrative for how we got here. Secondly, it's so weird to me to hear people talk about how ancestors are demonic or how some of these veneration practices are demonic when so much of how the Black church operates can be drawn directly. We can see a direct lineage to many practices off the west coast of Africa. A lot of the music, a lot of the dancing, a lot of the drumming, a lot of the call and response, a lot of the way we talk about spirits can directly be drawn to many rituals in West African tradition. So when you go to church on Sunday, it's important to understand that you are inheriting and embodying many traditions that we can see mimicked across the Caribbean and across the west coast of Africa because there is a direct lineage. I'm just saying, let's be careful about how we're talking about our ancestors, how we're talking about our lineage. And to be so obvious, y'all, your mom and your dad, one day, your parents are going to be your ancestors. If you have kids, you're going to be ancestors one day. I don't know what we're saying about your spirit when you're saying stuff like that. I'm not even going to get into Jesus because this video is already too long. And if I start talking about Jesus, it would literally be an hour long. But I thought it was important to just start to drop some nuggets of history into this conversation because, y'all, we didn't get this Christian history out of nowhere.
You once said your biggest fear was falling in love for the first time with a white guy. Now that it's happening, how does it feel?
Listen, it's tough.
I'm also in love with the white man.
It could happen to you.
Every seconds, a baby
There
is
are
born,
so many
and a
of
person
them.
of color falls in love with a
They're
white man.
around.
It's really bad. Hi, I'm Ananiah. This is Gaydar. Your best men are Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers. Best men.
They're just in the wedding party.
Okay. What are some of their straightest qualities?
I would say for Matt, he's from Long Island. And for Bowen, he loves professional wrestling, which is actually pretty gay.
Marry, kill, Disney gays, Harry Potter gays, or furries?
Disney gays. Kill Harry Potter gays. They know what they did.
Correct answer.
Marry a furry. They just
Absolutely.
Listen, they stand on business. They just want to be left alone and
There it is.
put on their costumes.
A furry is the nicest person you've ever met.
Abs-
Oh, nicest person and the richest person. Who's the iconic gay comedian known for announcing her breast cancer diagnosis on stage?
Tig.
Yeah. You better know your history. Your history. Your thistory. Ain't that? What's the gayest thing about evangelical Christians?
They're obsessed with like one hung guy.
Okay, what position do you think Jesus was?
About it. Oh, because he was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. You know, like, he didn't put up a fight.
Sure. If I had to guess if you were gay, straight, or homophobe, so I'm gonna go ahead and say you're gay. Am I close?
Gay. Capital G, gay. Yeah.
Have you ever? I can't ask that.
No, you can now.
Have you ever had sex with a woman?
Famously a woman before, but that is as far as I've gone.
Is that still Gold Star? Maybe like a Silver Star?
I hate that term anyway.
Sure.
Gold Star gay, because they're like, oh, like, yeah, I've never, gone far with a woman, and it's like, yeah, look at you. Like, no one wanted to. No one wanted to. That's why you're a Gold Star gay. They talk about it like they got a Purple Heart.
I want to tell you a little bit about this pin I have on my bag. This is a leprechaun wearing a keffiyeh and flipping off the world, which I think is so fucking dope and cute. But a lot of y'all are probably wondering, what the hell does a keffiyeh have to do with a leprechaun? Like, what does Ireland have to do with Palestine? A whole lot more than you might realize. Let's take it back to the Great Irish Famine. We all pretty much learned about this, in the United States at least. The Irish themselves, I believe, call it the Great Starvation, because it wasn't a famine. I mean, from the way that history frames it, the narrative that has been spun, yes, but it wasn't a famine. We were told that the Irish grew potatoes and the potatoes got sick one day and their food source was gone and they needed to leave. They were hungry. And, 7, 8 years old, whatever, we can understand that when we're being told by our elementary school teachers, but as an adult, looking back with an adult's perspective, it's like, why would they only grow potatoes? We love them. We're not judging. Americans, we love our potatoes down. But why only that crop? And the thing is, they were not only growing potatoes. They grew a plethora of crops. The British took them. The Crown took the crops for themselves. And so the Irish were only left with the potatoes. That was their only food source that they were given. It was a manufactured famine. And you can see just how devastating it was on the Irish of the time through their descendants, because it took such a toll on their bodies that there is an epigenetic trail, like fingerprints almost, of the damage and the toll that it took on them. You can see through certain traits that are expressed within their descendants, or certain things that their descendants and their families are predisposed to, certain illnesses and diseases, things like their metabolism even being different, their body's needs to hold on to nutrients longer and to be able to absorb them quicker, because of the fact that their ancestors didn't know when they would be getting nourished again. And so if we see all these things, and we have empirical evidence that these things occurred and have occurred and are occurring and have material, tangible effects on people in the modern day, what do you think is happening to Palestinians? What do you think is happening to the countless children that are in the most crucial point in their development, who can't nourish their bodies properly, who can't get enough vitamins, minerals, and nutrients into their body to properly facilitate their growth? What do you think is happening to babies that just freshly came out of the womb, like infants under a year old, who are unable to get milk because their mothers are starving as well, and they can't produce milk, and they can't go to, the food drops or whatever every week or two that they occur, because they're located miles away, and all the men of the family have already been killed. Like, what do you think that all of this collectively, the starvation, the trauma, the witnessing your loved ones, your relatives, your parents, your siblings, your children, your neighbors be killed in front of you, is doing to those people? And what do you think it will do to their descendants, their children, and their children's children? These things are not just one-off events. This is not going to be something that we can turn the page on in our history without having like the sentence continue, if that makes sense. Like, we're not just turning the page and starting a new chapter. What was written on the page before directly plays into what comes on this next one. So that's why I really do love this pin here, because it's just a cute and also like semi-discreet but also just very loud way to acknowledge that shared history and the intersection there between people all across the world and having to resist oppression. Because the Irish know very well, the Irish have always been a people that I have seen willing to show up for what is right and to stand on their beliefs in that regard. I've seen Irish people where I've seen no other Europeans, quite frankly. And, this is not to meat ride any European country or anything, but Ireland does have a lot of good people, and their people do recognize the immorality of what is going on because they've experienced it, they've lived it. And so I just think this is a beautiful, really way to acknowledge that. This I got from the brand Demi Falastini, which is also just happens to be a brand run and owned and operated and started by Palestinians. They've been around since 1950, and they used to be based in Jericho in Palestine, but now they're based in New Jersey due to what's going on. So I just like to put them out there because I do love Demi Falastini. They've got a really wonderful line of not only pins but keffiyeh and like bandanas and things like that. But the cool thing is that a lot of their like garments and whatnot, like the keffiyeh, are handmade. All the keffiyeh are 100% like handmade, authentic cotton keffiyeh made by Palestinian refugees, and every single dollar that you spend with them goes to a Palestinian refugee because that's the only people that's employed in their company. So if you like the little bit of history that I've attempted to share with you today before I get myself on this train to go to New Jersey, maybe spend a little time and a little dime with Demi Falastini or with Palestinian-owned brands, businesses local to you or that you know and love. Share them in the comments too. We must uplift each other and we must recognize each other's struggles as our own because they truly are.
Batman bottoms for Superman, and frankly, is the bottom in all of his relationships. Bruce Wayne tops Clark Kent. The reasoning behind these claims are albeit simple. Bruce Wayne is the persona that Batman puts on. It isn't the other way around. This can be indicated by Batman stating this directly in Batman Beyond as he reflects on his career to Terry McGinnis. Bruce Wayne is the performance that Batman puts onto the world, and this performance is erotic, showy, very indicative of top behavior. Batman puts on a hard exterior, but on the inside, he's a traumatized boy who constantly battles with love and grief, very indicative of power bottom behavior. If you want a piece of Batman, you must work through his hard exterior to get to his true character. And who else can do this but Superman, i.e. Clark Kent? Clark Kent has spent his entire life working in service of the people. This didn't change when he became Superman, as Superman is the persona that Clark Kent puts onto the world. His legacy of service as Clark Kent and Superman would obviously carry over to Bruce Wayne and Batman for more reasons than one. Not only has their relationship existed for multiple decades, but sometimes we've observed their subtext become a headline with how obvious the gay allegories are. Must I mention the Red Sunroom? All this to say, I believe that Superman broke through the hard exterior of Batman by pushing into Batman's hole and breaking through his power bottom act to reach his soul. However, this isn't the end of Superman's acts of service. As Clark Kent, he lets himself become a bottom for Bruce Wayne.
The formula here is simple. As their personalities and personas switch, their positions do the same. To conclude, this is a reasonable explanation for a gay relationship that works for both parties involved. Superbad is an interesting dynamic to discuss alongside Batman and Joker and other possible gay relationships that could occur within the DC canon. Queer relationships are often disregarded and discriminated in the mainstream media of comics. However, in the face of this, it's nice to know that fans can come together and create one of the best dynamics I've seen in the Batman v Superman canon.
Today we're baking up some brown butter carrot cake sandwich cookies. It's a carrot cake cookie sandwiched between a brown butter cream cheese frosting. So we're going to be working on the carrot cake cookie first, and I've already browned some butter. So to it I'll be adding in an egg, and then some vanilla bean paste. Next I'm going to be peeling these carrots, then we're going to get them grated. And so now with this little portion of carrots, I'm going to be cooking this down until it gets to about 35 grams. Now I'm going to be adding in the cooked down carrots, and we'll get this whisked together. And I'm just dumping all of my dry ingredients directly into the bowl. So first we have some flour, baking powder, baking soda, some salt, and then our spices. I have some cinnamon, a little bit of ginger, and then some cloves. Then we'll just get this mixed together with a spatula. And then before we're done fully mixing everything, I also have some toasted walnuts that we're going to be adding in. And now with our dough fully formed, I'm going to get this in the fridge to chill for about 1 hour. So it's been about 30 minutes, so now I'm going to be scooping these out. I like to pack it really in there. And then we got our dough ball. The oven's set to 350, so these can now get baked. We're now going to be working on the cream cheese frosting, so I have some cream cheese here that we're going to be whipping up. And then we have some leftover brown butter. Pinch of salt, vanilla bean paste, and then some powdered sugar. You could definitely just top these with icing, but I do like the idea of creating a sandwich with them. Alright, now for the best part, I get to eat one. The cookie is super soft, you're getting bites of the nuts throughout as well, which I really like, and then the brown butter is great too. And I'm really happy I went with a sandwich instead of just adding it on top. These were super fun to make, so I'll be sure to have the recipe details in the caption so you can give this a try too.
Two thoughts. The first, the last time this country had an opportunity to meaningfully reconcile with its past, present, and future peacefully, whatever that means, was Reconstruction, post-Civil War. And you know what they did? They punted that opportunity to the fucking stratosphere. When a white man, Rutherford B. Hayes, wanted to be president so bad, he let the South leverage their electoral votes to pull the military out of it so that they wouldn't have to reinforce Reconstruction. The radical reform that asserted over 4 million newly freed people were indeed people. And he was willing to put a tack in those people and leave them for slaughter if it meant becoming president. President of a country, mind you, who had just given reparations and restitution to white enslavers for loss of income. A country that met political defectors who fled when the Confederacy lost to Brazil to replicate American plantations and then came back when they were too broke to do so successfully, not before introducing and establishing a settlement called Americana and have now a sub-ethnic group called the Confederados. They were received with open arms by this place and were given innumerable powers to stratify the racial caste system black folks have been at the bottom of ever since, in the most purposeful ways you can imagine. Fabricating Reconstruction's failure sealed the fate of this country. We are on a train with one stop. A fate they sealed, one can argue, in 1619, 1776, and then finally the Compromise of 1877. Wake up and smell the copper. The fall of the empire is going to look a lot like its creation, earmarked by violence and cruelty. Secondly, I need more of you to get a firmer grasp on necropolitics. I need black folks especially to get a really firm grasp on Afro-pessimism. Because if there was ever proof that white folks have positioned themselves to have the monopoly on both violence and victimization, it's the outcry post this. I'm seeing people across the political spectrum unanimously agree to the video of this occurring being one of the most graphic things they've ever seen. And I'm not talking about the people who were physically on site. That's an entirely different beast. I am not talking about them. But if you saw that through a screen and then you hopped online and made a video saying it was one of the most graphic things you've seen in years and it was jarring, I'm going to ask you where you have been and whether you've been on the internet at all since October 7th of 2023. I'm going to ask you if you've ever taken a look at the pictures of the open casket of Emmett Till. I'm going to ask you how well read you are on the history of the Attica uprising and why police were able to march onto the catwalk of Attica Correctional Facility and lay ammunition into hostages as well as incarcerated individuals for damn near 10 minutes with unjacketed ammunition, something that's been a war crime for a long time with no repercussions. I'm gonna ask what you know about the Move bombing, in which Philly PD dropped a literal bomb on a row house because they were pan-Africanists and anti-imperialists, by laying tens of thousands of rounds of ammunition in there and creating an emergency assistance blockade so they could not render aid to the community, and then donated the remains and skulls of adults and children to universities that the families had to fight for access back, and the folks that survived it were jailed for literal decades, some of which didn't come out till like 2 years ago. I am literally haunted by the top shooting that took place not that many years ago in Western New York, when a young white supremacist man shriemed himself, laying waste to dozens of black people in a supermarket he had targeted explicitly for that purpose. Whose death is remarkable to you? Whose death is remarkable to the empire? Whose death is graphic to you? That's something a lot of y'all need to be examining. Obviously, you need to understand how deeply politicized it is to even consider someone's death graphic amongst a sea of other increasingly graphic, gratuitously graphic events all the fucking time. I've spent 2+ years seeing some of the most graphic shit I think has ever happened to people on my phone. Actions the man who got popped today was a staunch apologist of. Someone who spent his entire career trying to further incite violence in a race war. Necropolitics, necropolitics, necropolitics. Get hip on it right fucking now. Because if the death of a 30-something-year-old white supremacist is one of the most graphic things you feel like you have encountered on the internet in years, it's telling who you perceive to be people and thus undeserving of this level of violence, and who might as well be characters in a video game to you.
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
Georgia congressional candidate Tori Branham says she knows what Georgians need. A roof over their head, food on the table, and jobs to make it all happen.
And I'm already talking to the constituents and even everybody in America about political issues. That's how we keep things going in the right direction, is education.
Speaking of education, Tori, have you heard of South Korea?
South Korea is working to secure the safe return of hundreds of citizens after they were caught up in an immigration raid last week.
DHS agents lining up workers at a Hyundai plant under construction near Savannah, Georgia.
One South Korean newspaper warned it could have a chilling effect on the activities of our businesses in the United States.
I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
Whoops.
But the future is the problem. Our companies that witnessed the arrests on site are withdrawing personnel. However, there are over 20 factories under construction by our companies in the United States.
Currently, there are 22 factories that Korean companies are building in the United States. The investment is estimated to total 150 trillion won, covering a variety of industries from semiconductors and batteries to shipbuilding. However, it is not easy to find specialized personnel locally to handle advanced industrial facilities.
Since we're learning about South Korea, that's $350 billion. In jobs that don't happen, bills that go unpaid, in neighborhoods that just aren't. Branham has already bruised Georgia's business sector just from the comfort of her couch. Imagine what she'll do in Congress. Tori Branham, Georgia is closed for business. Paid for by no one but my insomnia. So this comment reads, how one person can do so much harm. She wasn't... How do I say this? Yes, what she did was racist, and yes, what she did was dangerous and damaging to, like, international relations. Sorry, it's not funny. But more to the point, what she was trying to do was something else. She was trying to cultivate something called earned media. The clip in the middle where she's talking about her constituents, I took from a podcast of her about 3 months ago, a small business podcast, in which she talks about how she's running for Congress next year, and that she needs to raise $1 million to run her campaign, and nobody will beat her if she wins $1 million. Earned media is essentially what people do when they don't have a lot of funds. You'll see a lot of like small business startups, small candidates, people who don't have access to like traditional media to gain attention. It's not always rage bait, but a lot of times it is rage bait. Earned media is media dollars that you do not have to pull out of your own pocket. Media is giving you their attention because you did something to garner their attention. And the goal for like most like political candidates is earned media over paid media for obvious reasons. That's why it was such a big blow up during the 2016 election, that media gave so much attention to Donald Trump, billions of dollars worth. Like there is a numerical value to the amount of media attention people can get. And so essentially what she was trying to do is attach her name to the ICE raid as a launch to her campaign for 2026. It backfired spectacularly because she knows nothing about the intricacies of international policy and relations between the US and South Korea. And most importantly, this has to do with business. So business was always going to backfire. The logic behind a lot of these Trump supporters is that if you get people rounded up by ICE, then you'll get their jobs. But a lot of times people don't realize that their jobs only exist because of international relations. And so, yeah, she was trying to use this for earned media to launch her 2026 campaign. Because this is around the same time that the campaign started in 2023 for the 2024 election.
If you're Black, African American, and you look like me, it would really mean a lot if you can watch the entirety of this video all the way to the end. I promise you it'll be worth it, and I only need about 80 to 90 seconds of your time, approximately. My name is Devontae. I'm a filmmaker based out of Harlem, New York City, and I work in film professionally. And me and a team of Black filmmakers, we're creating a production company, or we have created a production company where we can tell Black stories the way that it was always meant to be told. For us, by us. Where the writers are Black, the actors are Black, the crew is Black, the stories are Black. Culturally, everything about what we're doing is Black from the top to the bottom. Now, this is specifically for you as well if you're one of those people who don't like those Tyler Perry films where, you know, Black women are always seen as like in this tragic situation, something of pure trauma with this horrible, partner, and just overall Black people in these traumatic situations when our culture is far more beautiful and complex than just simply trauma and pain. We are trying to change that by telling narratives that are complex, that are, that can explain how we created music or science, or even fictional worlds where we can create, horror and science fiction, things along those lines where we can still express the beauty of our culture and not always focus on the pain, while still getting to the foundation of what makes our culture really good, really rich, and really powerful. And in order for us to do that in a sustainable way, we can really use your help. Now, I'm not asking for money. All I'm asking is you go to the link in my bio and watch the short film we made a couple months ago. It's about a Black woman who discovered time travel. The film is called Epoch, and it was a Black cast, Black crew, Black actors, all that. And I would love for you guys to go to YouTube, comment, subscribe, like the video, ring the bell, do all that, because the more you watch it, we'll be able to monetize, and then also we'll be able to create more short films in a more sustainable and equitable way, so that way we can continue to do this long term for the community. And this will also continuously allow us to not only tell use short films as a narrative tool to tell our culture and our stories, but also we'll be able to do mini docs. We'll be able to do web series, mini web series and feature films, whatever the case may be. As long as the viewership and the income is there, we'll be able to do it, and do it in a way that'll be free and accessible to the community. Also, within the next, 12 days, we'll be releasing a short film about, once again, a Black couple who are discussing the ramifications of having children, how life-altering it can be for Black women to have children, and how we should be having these discussions in relationships. So we're going to be doing all this on the YouTube channel, and we're trying to keep it within the community. So I appreciate it if y'all can just go show the channel some love. We're trying to do the right thing. We work in film professionally, and we don't want to just hand out our skills to other people, especially they're going to morph and, distort our culture. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Stay safe. Show us some love, and I'll see y'all on YouTube.
Day number 9,246 of humbling men for my own entertainment. This man texted me and said, "What are you getting me for my birthday?" I said, "Another trip around the sun." He said, "I want to go to Stick 48, LOL. I said, "And with the right work ethic and dedication, you will get there one day." He said, "I'm going to have my homeboys take me." I said, "Great. I know how y'all love to have guy time and share an entree or two." He said, "Never had to share. That's what you and your girls do." I said, "Sometimes, because sometimes we do. I don't know. Not because of money, because of calories, boo. I don't know if that's the drag that you thought it was." He said, "Exactly. Stop flexing like you big money." I said, "Relax, little man. It's not a competition." Relax, little man. Calm down, pipsqueak. It's okay. Calm down. Nobody's attacking you. Relax. He said, "Let's go band for band, little girl." Why are they always trying to do that? Why do they always try to do that with me? I said, "Let's go tip for tip. I'll start. Every day can't be arm day. Your legs deserve some attention too." You look a mess, boo. You look a mess, boo. And I overlooked it because you had some money. But now you acting funny with the money. Now you're acting funny with the money. So let's talk about it, okay? He said, "I own 3 gyms. Why would I listen to you about..." Sorry, somebody done interrupt me texting me shit. "I own 3 gyms. Why would I listen to you about fitness? People beg me to train." I said, "Oh my God, stay away from them." I said, "Oh my God, stay away from them." He said, "You could use my expertise." I said, "No thanks. I have no desire to be shaped like a chin." He said, "Cool, bye." I said, "Be careful getting..." Wait. I said, "Be careful getting home tonight. A gust of wind might sweep you off your feet." Bye, bitch.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like a hater, but I'm gonna be real. It's gonna be so easy to scam y'all. Not even in the near future or in the distant future. Like, it's happening right now. I had 15 of my mutuals repost this Malik Farm video where it's a black woman, it's a bunch of black women crying, and then an older black man saying, "Please repost this, just watch this so we don't lose our farm." I could see why you would watch it. So I watched it and I'm reading all the comments, and then I start to look through their posts and I'm like, well, what's their backstory? Like, why are they about to lose their farm? Like, I'm very curious. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just curious. I'm like, is it because of, all the policies? Because I've seen like other black farm owners come up on here and talk about the farm and stuff. We'll talk about how the farm industry and business is just kind of weird in America right now. So I'm looking on their page. I don't really see any further details. Every video is just, "Don't scroll, watch this." And it's just the same footage over and over and over again. I'm like, okay. And then here's another thing. You know when somebody comments on your video and you can tap the comment and it'll say comment deleted, or it'll take you to the original video? They have those comments on the videos, but you can't tap on them because they're not real comments. And all the comments are rage baiting. The comments are like, "Nobody's going to buy those, stupid monkey. Nobody's going to buy those, stupid NIGGA." But you can't click on the comment and there's no actual account that said that. It's a gripe. Like, there might actually be a Malik Farm. I'm not going to say that because they're getting this footage from somewhere. But that's not connected to what you guys are promoting. I even went on the website. The website is all just promo to buy these ugly ass horse blankets. It's like an Etsy page or something like that. And it has nothing to do with the black people on the farm anymore. Like, the videos and the website are not connected at all. And then to make it worse, they had an ad on one of their pages, like on the page for one of the videos. And it was showing all these black farmers, they're doing steel work and farm work, all this kind of stuff. And then the finished product was a white person's hand holding a couple horses on it. I'm like, where'd the white hand come from? It was a black-owned farm. What is this? Look, I don't know too much. I can't say, but from looking through the details, that is not real, y'all. Y'all got. It looks like a scam. And y'all know AI is getting better and better. I feel like they're using AI images of black people in black videos to garner sympathy and rage bait. And people are just linking their website to make people buy products. Honestly, scamming is so easy to do nowadays. Nobody should be broke. Like, that's what it's giving, especially in America. Matter of fact, let me go make a gripe video real quick.
Andrew, keep that in. Andrew, cut that. Andrew, we have to cut that.
Never trust the right.
Period. You better get him. Yes. Bing. I can't believe I just called him mayoral elect.
I took the microphone from you. I hope you're not Wendy Williams. Okay. We'll talk about it. There is Uke and Semet.
What is a strap bag?
A bag that you carry your strap on in?
Yeah, it is that simple. I've been strapped before. Ooh. I meant to say strap bagged. What are Lady Gaga fans called?
The Goo-Goos.
Which of these artists is openly queer? Bad Bunny, Young Miko, Maria Zardoya.
I love you, Bad Bunny. I'm not sure if he really take dick.
How are femme and masked lesbians thirst traps different?
Femme thirst traps are kind of like, you want to see the mask one?
Please.
And don't come for me, because I know how you girls like to tussle. Here, hold on. It looks like my ex.
Your friend just came out as bisexual. What are 3 questions you shouldn't ask them?
Top or bottom? How many white? Wait, I'm not done.
Can you name a straight white cis man that you trust?
I honestly, yeah, my dad.
That's beautiful. I cannot.
My dad.
I trust Papa Roan, but you're probably bisexual. There's a Venn diagram, right? There's bi and there's homophobic, and then right in the middle we have Neme. All right, folks, that's our show. Are you straight?
No.
Okay, good. What's T? What's T?
In the past, I would have said bisexual, but I feel like it's a little bit more fluid than that.
Right.
You know, who are we to be defined by terms? Well, I think terms are actually good because they build community.
So he's a bottom. Bye.
The worst thing about studying sociology at Harvard is that after your 4 years, you leave with one main lesson, that there is no solution to all the messed up things in the world. And this hit extra hard for me because I was a young black man from Newark, New Jersey, going to Harvard, trying to figure out why people in my hood were trapped in cycles of poverty and find out possible solutions. And man, was I mistaken, because there are no solutions besides possibly revolution. But unfortunately, nobody's going for that. And to top it all off, even though there's no solutions, you do end up learning about a lot more problems. In fact, the new problems start compounding on the old problems, and before you know it, you talk about necropolitics, learned helplessness, survivorship bias, and you realize how deep all of this really gets, and now it feels like all hope is lost. And when you do talk about theoretical solutions, it's like all of them are bound to fail when practiced. Invest in your community. Oh, well, if we invest too much, they might end up bombing us like they did to Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Education reform. Oh, well, now the government is banning books and defunding the Department of Education and stripping resources from public schools in the hood. Get a black billionaire. Oh, well, now we have a couple, but you know, their money is rooted in capitalism and black people will never be free under capitalism. The gap of power between the oppressed and the oppressor is really just too wide to do anything. But it's also really interesting because the oppressor literally gets all of their power from the oppressed, and this is why consumerism is so bad. We live a lifestyle of buying, and consuming, and the only people that are profiting are the elite. So in a way, we are literally their lifeline. So if the oppressed were really about it, the whole entire system could crumble. But again, ain't nobody really about it. And let me clear this up before the sociology haters come in the comments. I absolutely loved my major, and I wouldn't switch it for anything in the world. Although it didn't really provide any tangible solutions, it did require you to really sit and think. And sometimes thinking is just as powerful as coming up with an actual solution, especially in this day and age where brain rot is prevailing. And although black people may never truly be free under capitalism, you individually can still positively impact a handful of black lives. And in my opinion, that's better than nothing.
Niggas have been acting on this app lately. You would think Kamala Harris was Che Guevara. You would think Kamala Harris was a member of the Bolsheviks or some shit. Like, bro, you would think that the Democratic Party stands opposed to fascism. Remember when students was protesting at their colleges and the police started beating their fucking ass and the Democratic president got on TV and was like, I don't know why they protesting anyway. There's no place for that at a school. That didn't feel like fascism. You know what, let's take it even farther back. When they was talking about stopping frisking black men on the streets because they are predictive policing, that didn't feel fashy to y'all? Like, that shit go back to Obama in them days, bro. And it's like, now that the stormtroopers is at niggas' door, niggas like, oh, oh, this shit started all last summer. No. It's crazy to me. Every time a Democrat get into office, they do marginally, if anything, good. And people be like, well, they just couldn't do much more. They didn't have the numbers. They didn't have the support. And then when a Republican gets in office, they can do every evil thing that they have ever conceptualized in their whole fucking life. And then people will tell me that the problem with this whole system is that we didn't vote for the Democrat hard enough. Interesting. And it's crazier because this nigga Biden was planning on expanding expanding ICE anyway. The records show that shit, nigga. You can look it up. So why are we just pretending like this is all just Trump's evil, macabre design? No, nigga. This is a fascist system aiding a fascist. And y'all niggas have been duped into thinking that the other candidate was anything but a fucking fascist, nigga. Be like, Khalid, sure, Kamala Harris would have let the police beat the fuck out of us. And you know what I'm saying? The over-policing of our neighborhoods would have surely continued, you know what I'm saying? And surely all of those kids overseas would have kept dying. But we would have had gay pride. We could have had Solon with it. Like, nigga, get the fuck out my face.
Friendship fantasies. A couple weeks ago, a friend calls me asking if they can stay with me. No problem, as long as you need. They're coming from out of town. The day of comes, I give them the keys so that they can get to the crib in and out because I trust them. At the end of the day, my best friend calls and says, hey, I'm going to this art exhibit. Do you want to come? Say less. Call the out of town friend. This is where we're going. You down? I'm down. Bet. I get there early, but kind of late. Best friend's already there. We're chatting. They're doing their thing. They're mingling. The art, beautiful. Very thought-provoking. Out of town friend comes. We're chatting. I'm introducing them to people. It's a community. And talking about the art some more. Eventually, I'm ready to go. Out of town friend says, hey, I'm actually about to go listen to some jazz. You want to go? I was going to go home, but I'm down. I love music. As we're walking, it's dark outside. It's cool, but we're walking, so the insides are warm. The light is shining. We get to the jazz club. Jazz popping. Saxophonist, real smooth. Drummer, hands going crazy. The vibes are immaculate. The moment we get tired, we both look at each other, ready to go. Head on home. We're chatting. We're getting ready for bed, about to go into our separate rooms. The yapping continues though. Eventually, all right, that's enough. Go to sleep. Wake up. We're both journaling. We're writing about our previous day. We're writing about each other. Mad synchronicity. They have to go about their day. I'm staying home to work. I walk them downstairs to lock the door behind them. It suddenly feels like I have a family, if only but for 2 days. I'm happy. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna make them French toast. Friendship fantasies.
So Israel claimed that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement today and used that as justification to bomb Gaza over 100 times. And it turns out the violation wasn't even Hamas. There was an explosion in Rafah today beyond the demarcation line in an area deemed as being under Israeli control. Netanyahu claimed that Hamas was behind it and that Hamas had popped out of tunnels to attack Israelis. What actually happened, however, is a group of settlers, Israeli settlers who are not supposed to be in Rafah, settlers who own a private demolition company specifically for the goal of demolishing Palestinian homes. Well, they met their karma. These settlers, in their quest to demolish Palestinian homes, drove over an unexploded Israeli ordnance, an explosive device that detonated under the pressure of their bulldozer. It was an incident that had absolutely no connection to Hamas, an incident that had no connection to any Palestinians or clashes between any Palestinian factions. It was simply because of the greed of these Israeli settlers that they were injured in Rafah. Oh, and plot twist, the White House knew the entire time. The White House and the Pentagon knew, and they remained silent while Netanyahu made his false claims and renewed his bombing campaign on Gaza. They knew, and Netanyahu still used this event as justification for dropping bombs on over 100 different locations in Gaza. He used this as justification for denying access to humanitarian aid, for refusing to open up the Rafah crossing. And all the while, they have a publication ban on all of the demolition activities that are going on in Rafah right now because they don't want the world to know that they are continually violating the ceasefire by actively demolishing the homes of Palestinians. Because they'd rather have you think that the Palestinians are the ones violating the agreement rather than Israel.
Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women. Let's talk about it. Taylor Swift is obsessed with the fact that several of her exes have moved on to date black women, and she perceives this kind of conquering of Travis as an end or disruption of this pattern, and she's boasting about it in this album. Let's start with Opalite, which is very clearly about Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex-boyfriend whom he dated off and on from 2017 to 2022, and oh, Kayla Nicole happens to be black. The lyrics in Opalite could actually not be clearly more like targeting Kayla Nicole, right? It references a video that went viral a couple times in which Travis is literally berating Kayla for being on her phone. Meanwhile, she is an influencer, so that is weirdo behavior because she was working and it's very controlling, but it is very clear nonetheless that that video is referenced in Opalite. The lyric reads, "You couldn't understand it, why you felt alone, you were in it for real, she was in her phone, and you were just a pose," right? Like, Taylor could not have been more obvious and like less creative here. It's not enough to me that like Taylor is using this like crazy like worldwide medium to best a woman that like previously dated her ex. It's also the fact that like Taylor is fully aware that Kayla has received like relentless and racist harassment, oftentimes terrifying, from Swifties in reaction to the fact that she previously dated Travis. So like this is like purposefully and like blatantly violent. This song accomplishes two things at once, right? It proves the fact that Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women, and it endangers Kayla Nicole. But obviously our country is not at its best with critical thinking, so let's like analyze a different part of the song, right? So another lyric says, "But I'm not a bad bitch, and this ain't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down." So in this song, Taylor positions herself as this like unique, singular white flower that is so different from what? Black culture. And once you step back and realize the song is like final boss pick me X racism, you realize that Taylor Swift is preoccupied with like this obsession with black women, in part because Travis Kelce has predominantly dated black women in the past, and she wants to define herself as different from his past and therefore better. Again, very weird, very pick-me behavior. Taylor's not only preoccupied with this idea that Travis has historically dated black women, it's also the reality that several of her exes have moved on from her to black women. And that confounds and ultimately like enrages her, and she's so obsessed with the pattern and the idea that she had to talk about it in this album. Chris, give me examples. Okay, well, we have Harry Styles, who is now reportedly dating Zoe Kravitz. We have Tom Hiddleston, who has moved on to be engaged to and co-parent with a black woman whose name is Zawe Ashton. And then we have Calvin Harris, who went on to marry a black woman named Vic Hope. So it is a pattern, and Taylor Swift is clearly aware of it because she is obsessed with her exes, and all of that together is making me feel very, very strange. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today I'd argue that this idea, the idea that white men have historically left Taylor Swift for black women, is part of her personal mythos, right? I imagine she finds it both confounding and devastating that these men have left her, who is like the pinnacle of Western white beauty, right? She is the ideal white woman. Meanwhile, all of these white guys are leaving her for black women, and I'm sure it's really pissing her off. So when Taylor like secured Travis, she achieved the ultimate feat in her mind. She had convinced a white man to leave black women for her, and the mythos is complete. She has disrupted the pattern, she is the queen bee yet again, and this album is all about her obsession with that weird mythos and her obsession with black women. At the end of the day, you know and I know that Taylor Swift is a deeply calculated and intentional person, right? She drew up these lyrics and this like 8th grade symbolism very intentionally. It's very red-pilled and incredibly macro-aggressive. So I guess the moral of my story here is like, you Swifties, the ones who refuse to call her out on her bullshit, are the same exact type of white feminist that she is. You protect bigots and you traffic in and like enjoy anti-black bullshit. And that makes you a bad person. All right, bye.
I feel like people like you only leave comments like this because y'all really wish that you could do what the fuck I do. Y'all be closeted. Y'all be dick suckers on the low. You be swallowing other people's kids on the fucking low and be upset that you can't dress like that in person, that you can't walk around in your crop top so that other bitches know that you a bitch, that other people know that you a little punk. That's how you feel. Because I've been here in my neighborhood for damn near 3 years now, and ain't no one gave me no problems. People may look once in a while, whatever, they may stare me down what the fuck ever, but let them do what the fuck ever they want, because at the end of the day, I'm a nigga. Like, I can handle myself. So if anyone wants that, they can get it very easily. I'm with it. I'm down with it. But you don't understand the intersectionalities that are at play within my identity or just in general. Because how the fuck are you going to get up on here and tell me, from a black person to a black person, that me living in a black neighborhood, I will be safer around white people because of the way that I present myself, as if that's ever fucking mattered to them. As if the way that we look or the way that we act or what the fuck we do matters to those folks when they decide to be prejudiced, to be racist, to hate us, to call the police on us, to lynch us, to do what the fuck ever, this, that, and the third. Because bottom line, I will always be a black person before any other aspect of my identity, and the same goes for everyone else in existence. Y'all will always be your race before you are queer, before you are religious or spiritual. You will be perceived as black because that is what the fuck you are. That is what the fuck I am. So me being queer in a white space does not inherently give me more safety than being queer in a black space, when at the end of the day, I am black before I'm queer, and those people are going to see me as a black person in a white space and not a queer person in a queer or whatever sort of space it may be. You know, I've been here and I have not once heard, seen any sort of homophobic what the fuck ever. Y'all may be saying that amongst your family, your friends, what the fuck ever, and I don't surround myself with low vibrational bitches like that. Because if you really spend that much time thinking about who the fuck I sleep with instead of worrying about getting someone in your fucking bed, then you're weird. You're a weirdo and you're pressed and you're jealous. And at the end of the day, I know that bitches like you are just trying to project your miserable life experiences onto people like me who enjoy their existence and trying to involve us in what is the suppression of your authentic self, because you can't live authentically to who you are, because the people around you, the people that you're supposed to love, who are supposed to love you back unconditionally, have placed conditions upon you. Your friends, your family, your support system, the people around you who won't allow you to exist and who won't support you existing outside of the predetermined box that they have placed you in. That is where you're coming from, because I don't do any of this other shit. You're talking about blue contacts. Unless you're fucking colorblind, I don't see blue anywhere. I don't wear dresses, and I can post what fucking ever pride content I want, because at the end of the day, not a single one of you broke bitches pays for my phone bill except for me. So I don't get where any of that falls into like how I would be treated on the street. You would treat me on the street that way because you feel that way. And I wish the fuck that you would, because like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a nigga. And I can get down like that. I do like to get down.
So a bitch with amateur box braids but advanced gout decided that it would be funny to eat my lunch from the fridge. I'm not somebody that's quick to anger, not at all. But when I decide to, that get back won't be silly. After doing a little bit of snooping, found out she had an irrational fear of Flavor Flav. What did I do with that information, you ask? I order a roach off Temu. Same thing. But I found out I take about 6, 7, 8, 4-7 business years for anything to come through with them. I need that get back now. I need it. So I go to my cousin's house. Knock, 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 walk in, go to the wall, grab a roach. Say, let me borrow this real quick. See, I don't know how mad anybody has ever been to grip the shit out of a roach, but for me, it's only happened 3 times. So I put that bitch in a dime bag. Then I drive the speed limit because I didn't need the cops to know I was out here packing heat. I dap off a mutual with the product and just sit and wait for that it's done call. I clock in the next morning, she's screaming. They got about 6, 7, 8 niggas crowded around her watching a roach pussy pop off a tuna sandwich. I'm in the corner, in the shadows, chuckling like an anime villain. Operation Bugaboo was a success. I retrieved the roach and then released it and the babies that it had back into my cousin's house, because when I borrow something, I bring it back with interest. So somebody please explain to me why my cousin is so pissed off at me that I returned what I borrowed.
Hi, I'm O'Shawn.
He ain't all that. And he's poor. Oh. I just like the song, okay?
I like to get back around Christmas time, too.
Like what?
I go to the soup kitchen.
Oh, so you're kind and stuff. You don't need to brag about it.
All right, looks like you are good to go. The projector is fixed. I tuned up the sound system, and I went ahead and set up some winter-friendly visuals.
You know you're not getting a tip, right?
I saw that you changed up the tree. You went with some different wrapping paper for the gifts.
Came up with that on my own.
Of course. I think I'm gonna stick around a bit, catch a show, and if anything goes wrong, I'll be right here.
Whatever.
I gotta head up to Miss Washington's class. You need anything else while I'm down here?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Hey, I was looking for you.
Okay.
I finished up on the second floor.
Great.
Do you need anything else before I go?
No.
All right, then. I'll head out. It was really good seeing you again. You look nice.
Sean is here. He did not take the bus because he owns a car.
I actually lease a pre-owned. You want to go on a date with me?
Yes.
All right, I'll text you. Have you been here before?
No, but it seems up to my standards. I'm gonna go ahead and let my girl know she doesn't have to pretend she's going into labor.
I've been hesitant to come here. It's kind of a sore spot since it replaced one of my favorite restaurants.
That old diner was one of your favorite restaurants?
Well, for the nostalgia, not for the food. It was where my parents would take me whenever I got a good report card.
Oh, you had to get good grades just to eat. Say it.
Nah. If that was the case, I wouldn't have eaten very often. I was not a great student.
A bad boy? Or a dumb boy? Both?
Neither, now.
Dang. My family used to go out to eat at chain restaurants all the time. It was like my dad's favorite thing to do. But he has the worst taste.
I kind of like chain restaurants.
Me too. But I was talking about his taste in women. He started a second family with a waitress at one of those restaurants, and queso dips are very triggering for me now.
Thank you for telling me that. I don't really like queso dip anyway, so it won't be hard to avoid on our next date.
Oh, Sean?
Oh, I was never here and know nothing, but if I was and I did, I'd say, sounds good.
And I'd say less, but you already did. Hot.
Looks like the queen is back on her throne.
Please, the throne is wherever I'm sitting at the moment. You ready to chaperone while I look at my phone all day?
You know it. But before we leave, I thought that you could use a little welcome back gift.
You're right, I could.
Wow.
Look at you spending money you don't have.
Maybe a little.
Oh my God! They're beautiful.
Right? Yeah. Try them on.
Okay. You shouldn't have. Oh no! They must have fallen out. Oh my God. Shoot. They look so good too.
That's how you take them off.
Damn. Look, I don't want you to think that you shouldn't buy me things, but these aren't my style at all. Like, at all.
I get it. I get it. I just wish you would have told me.
Well, I didn't want to hurt your feelings or seem ungrateful. Sorry.
You ain't got nothing to be sorry about. I took a big swing because I thought you like expensive things.
No, to reiterate, I love gifts.
Yeah, I know that. These actually weren't my first choice. These were. They're custom. I know it's below your expected price point, but the style reminded me of you.
Oh, thank God. You do have taste. Well, now that that's sorted, maybe I'll keep you long term.
Maybe I'll keep you long term.
Shut up. Give me those good earrings and return those to Ariel's grotto under the sea. Remember, we have to sit in the middle of the road. The Fanavision cameras never go for the aisle. Seeing the stairs makes the ballpark look empty.
Yeah, I got you. You can keep that. Huh?
Still can't believe you missed the kiss cam.
Well, if you had let me go to the bathroom when I wanted to, I would have been here. Baby, you got control issues.
Well, if we're being real about it, this is the first time I've gotten to sit in the stands with the person I'm dating. Because usually they're too busy playing on the field or on the court or on the ice. So I just wanted to do all the normal people things I never could. Because, you know, I'm used to being with professional athletes.
Was that supposed to be a sad story?
Just reminding you of who I've dated.
I mean, even though your reasons are a little superficial, I admit Kiss Cam would have been cute. So, I tried to do the next best thing.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Bitch, did you hear what happened? I'm glad I caught you. Let me tell you what happened before I eat, bitch, because you know after I eat, I'm gonna get the itis and go to fuck to sleep. So you know Donna who fucked with Tyvon. Bitch. So one day, Tyvon, he was around the park and shit off the late night. Donna friends rolled past and they seen Tyvon out there talking to a motherfucking girl. Now, mind you, Donna friends don't know the girl. All they know is the girl is a transgender. They got to looking at each other and shit and saying, bitch, what Tyvon over there doing? Talking to a man. So you know what them bitches did. They went back and told Donna. Now Donna, she approached Tyvon. Now Tyvon was real motherfucking calm when Donna approached him. Bitch, Donna was giving, you out here talking to men? Somebody that I know seen you leaning your shoulders in the arms of another man with a wig on. That's what the fuck Donna said. And Tyvon was giving, what is you talking about? I ain't gay. I don't go that way. Ain't nothing about titties at the top and dick at the bottom that turn me the fuck on. I don't got nothing against it, but it ain't for me. Bitch, here go Donna. Tyvon was giving. Bitch, you tripping. Go ahead about your day, because you tripping. For real. So, bitch, as the days turned into night, people kept seeing Tyvon spotted with this motherfucking girl. Now, Donna friends was doing some major investigation, bitch, so they found out the bitch name, Talisha. They done spotted Tyvon carrying this bitch groceries to the car. He even holding open the door and shit at the liquor store while she coming out with her Bon Ton barbecue potato chips. So Donna friends giving something going on. He bending over for that bitch. So days have turned into weeks and weeks turn into months. And nobody have seen the motherfucking transgender. She just disappeared. So about 5 months later, Donna and her friends was sitting around the south side in front of the apartment building on the steps and shit, bitch, strolling on social media. And they came across a picture of a bitch like this. Bitch, why was the transgender, bitch? And it said in the caption, pink or blue. And she wasn't talking about the motherfucking rainbow. A gender reveal, bitch. So here go Donna and her friends, all delusional. All, when do transgenders have babies? All, she doing a pregnancy filter. All, they was just saying shit, bitch. So now, hold on. A couple of more months done passed. And they on social media again. And they see a picture of the bitch who's supposed to be a transgender holding a baby. So they looking. They like, oh, this bitch really did have a baby. So they got to stroll into the next picture. And guess who the fuck was holding the baby in the next picture, bitch? You got it. Tyvon, bitch. So after Donna seen that shit, she instantly jumped in her motherfucking car. She heading up to the local hospital. She know where it's at, bitch. She get up to that hospital, bitch, and she walk through them double doors, bitch. And guess who walking down the hallway? Tyvon. Donna walked up to Tyvon. Donna said, so you gonna lie to me? Tyvon looked at that bitch and said, I ain't lie to you. You asked me, was I fucking a transgender? I said, no. I was fucking a woman who happened to be strong like a motherfucking man because she's a trainer from the gym. Body shaped like China from WWE. I ain't lie to you. You made yourself believe something that wasn't true. Bitch! And walked past her ass and said he had to go get some motherfucking Pampers. Bitch, I'm about to eat my food. You ain't hear none of this from me because I'm not the one to gossip.
As the future mayor of New York City, how would you handle New York's rat problem? Starting with Mr. Mamdani. Hi. I understand that the problem with rats is truly a problem with cleanliness. And as the mayor, I would put more investment into our park services and into our waste management services to make sure that this city is not only the most affordable city, but a lovely city to live in. Mr. Cuomo, how would you address this city's rat problem? I don't know if anyone noticed, but Mamdani is a Muslim. He's a Muslim and you should be afraid. Now, when it comes to rats, maybe there is a rat problem, maybe there isn't a rat problem. I'm going to hire 3 people who are totally not corrupt to look into it. And once I looked into it, I will then be able to make a decision on whether or not I will make a decision on the rat problem. Now the question goes to you, Mr. Sliwa. How would you handle New York City's rat problem? Okay, in 1994, I was stabbed on the corner of 2nd Street and Avenue A. And before I bled out, 4 helpful, teenaged, amphibians, I think they were turtles, showed up and they brought me to their underground hideout where we had pizza, and I met their master, what was his name? I believe it was Mr. Splinter. He was Mr. Splinter, and he was raised, and he taught karate and other types of martial arts in his dojo. And I think that the real problem is, these rats, they don't have jobs, okay? These rats don't have jobs like they used to. So I think that if we allotted more rats to be teachers, to invest more in crime and safety, I even tried to give them, a red beret because I thought they were doing a great job out there, but they preferred their headbands. So I think we should give the rats jobs.
If we're supposed to be boycotting Hulu and Disney Plus, what am I supposed to do? Go back to basic cable? Like I'm down for the cause, trust and believe. But
no, you're not. No, you're not. Y'all never are. I gotta pack a bag. I can't stay here. What does it say? That I've been boycotting Disney Plus for 2 years, and y'all know why. I ain't holding nobody hand no more. Y'all know why. But y'all put them people in the hole, $4 billion overnight for the white man, who, mind you, don't even be saying nothing. He don't say nothing with his platform, and they still did that to him, so he gets his show back like the next day, and I guarantee you, everybody gonna just stop boycotting because they got what they wanted. Mind you, that's never been how this works. That's never been how boycotting works. Y'all are never beating the white man, white woman apocalypse allegations. If you think that Disney silencing a white man is the worst thing that Disney has done in the last couple of years, boy, do I have a settlement to sell you in the West Bank. It really is frying me. I'm not gonna be able to get out of here in time, am I? I'm not gonna be able to pack my bag. I need you to understand the psychosis that I have been thrown into these last couple of days. Seeing everyone, celebrities essentially, on their stories, throw up what is essentially the BDS boycott list and urge people to boycott. And I'm like, oh my God, finally, this is great. Oh my God. And then to see it's just essentially a rich white man in need. Sorry, silent rich white man, because he don't be saying shit. The BDS, it's like the same boycott list, but like just for a completely different reason. And then you got people, oh, why are y'all being such Debbie Downers, such negative Nancy's? It doesn't matter how we got here, we're all on the same side. No, bitch, 2 years. What Umar said, and the white man did it in 2 days. That matters, but I'm not arguing with y'all. I'm not. I gotta get the fuck out of here. How much time do y'all think we have on this sinking ship? I know a sinking ship when I see it. I've seen it for at least 4 years, but I don't want to be here for that. I can't be here for y'all are gonna be so annoying.
Me and Dylan Mulvaney sponsor and support Chasers all around.
And beer.
And?
You like beer?
Dylan.
I'm a Vale.
Hi, I'm Ananiah, and this is Dylan Does Gaydar.
Yeah!
Describe the plot of Wicked in straight slang.
An unpopular girl gets a glow up and steals your man. They come together at the 10-year reunion.
Who are some bald icons who inspire your drag king persona?
Daddy Warbucks from Annie.
Word?
You ever done Annie yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, there's still time. There's enough Botox in this town.
Okay. Rank these in order of queerness. Baptisms, communion, and confirmation.
Well, baptism, boys in dresses, so that's pretty gay. Communion, drinking under the age is so gay. What is it, confession?
Confirmation.
That's the least gay.
You think?
Well, actually, I guess you're committing to Catholicism. See, Catholicism can be fun.
Sure.
The music is bad. Our God is an awesome God.
That like transcend racial boundaries. That's a black person song.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say it
gospel
was just trans. That's a trans song.
Marry, kill, Dylan Sprouse, Bob Dylan, or Dylan Efron?
I was named after Bob Dylan, and so I think or marrying him would feel wrong. We're killing Bob Dylan. He's older. I say marry Dylan Efron because that means we get a Christmas with Zach. I would Dylan Sprouse.
Dylan Efron, if you're watching this, I would never use you to get closer to Zach. That's just who I am as a real. If you're the least problematic woman in the world, who's the most?
Say Marjorie Taylor Greene when she called me America's biggest child predator. One of the 10 commandments is lying, and she lied.
If I had to guess if you're gay, straight, or a homophobe, I think you're straight.
I think I'm a little bit straight. I have a percentage of gay I am.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
Maybe like 6?
It's looking like 14% right now.
We can do something with that.
Yeah, mask for mask. But should we end there?
Hey, Sister Cat, are you busy? Because I need to tell you about this video I just saw on my For You page. So sit down. It's juicy. I just saw a video of a girl sitting in her car with her best friend or somebody who she thought was her best friend because it turned out the bitch was... My apologies, I got a little carried away, girl. I got a little ahead of myself, but let me start over. This girl posts a video of her sitting in the car with her best friend and they are going through her boyfriend's phone. The girl's best friend is sitting in the car as her support system while the girl goes through her boyfriend's phone. Because that's what friends do. You support your friend even though you know she know that man been cheating on her the whole relationship. You still be there for support. As the girl is going through the goddamn phone, her best friend's first and last name pops up in that man's phone. And I know you're probably like, well, my best friend has my boyfriend's number. Correct. However, in this instance, her best friend's name wasn't in the contact list, bitch. Her best friend's name was in that man's Snapchat messages. And we all know that Snapchat is a goddamn cheater's paradise. So she's looking at her friend like, girl, why is your name in this phone? Like laughing it off like, oh, that's crazy. That's weird. The best friend is just sitting there looking stupid. So she opens up the message thread of her best friend and her boyfriend's conversation on Snapchat. And girl, I wish that I could say what she saw in the messages was actually messages, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a video of her best friend getting plowed, getting smashed, getting hammered, getting jackrabbited by her boyfriend. Her boyfriend recorded a video of her fucking her best friend, and her best friend is sitting here watching her watch the video that her boyfriend recorded of him fucking her best friend. She has the goddamn audacity to just be sitting there looking confused, looking befuddled. That's not you getting fucked. So the girl is like, Gabby, what is this? Gabby, what is this? Because that's her name. Her name is Gabby. Gotta watch out for them Gabbies. So she's asking the girl, what is this? What is this? She's just sitting there looking stupid. Her fucking sleeves tucked over her fingers, just sitting there looking dumb. Like, do you know how much of a psychopath you have to be to know that I'm sitting here going through my nigga's phone and you know that you fucked him, you know that y'all have had some type of fucking conversation, and you don't think to say anything? You don't think to alert me that the bitch I'm looking for is you? And the fact that no asses were whooped? The fact that not one extension was ripped from her head? The fact that she was able to get out of the fucking passenger seat of that car and walk back into the house and not limp? Bitch, better than me, I will tell you that. Bitch, Gabby would have got.
I don't think you understand how important and necessary it is to make shitty art. Make shitty videos, make shitty music, make shitty photography, and give yourself the permission to make it shitty. As a matter of fact, your whole momentum depends on how brave you are to not worry about how good it is. As long as you are real and honest and authentic in the process of creating it, then it deserves to exist. And it also deserves you moving on from it. Your whole momentum depends on that. And knowing that is freedom. It's freeing. There's freedom in knowing that, because then all of a sudden you're having more fun. Do you see this? Do you understand the severity of what I'm talking about? Like, in reality though, like, allow it to be trash, gang. It's okay. You're not a freaking god. You're not like the world's best of the best. And that's perfectly fine. You don't need to be the world's best of the best in other people's eyes, as long as you're the world's best of the best to you. And being the world's best of the best to you means that you can effortlessly create something without worrying about it being absolutely perfect, and it's automatically perfect. Effortlessly, it looks like you're reinventing the wheel instead of trying to constantly reinvent the wheel. You get it? People feel what you feel about you. People feel what you feel about yourself. So in knowing that, since you're so worried about what everybody thinks, all of a sudden, you realize that every time you put so much, your whole body too much into something, and then you try to make it this whole production, people can feel that. People can feel that you didn't think that it was good enough how it was. You get it? Rockstar shit. Crazy thing, this whole video is just a taste of what you'd receive as a client of mine. Book your session now. Book your session now. Book your session now.